Hey guys, it's good to be with you. Great to be with you. My name is David Parra, and I've been. We used to do this in person. They were a lot of fun. We had a great time. But now this is the next best thing, and I'm just so glad to be a part of this training. I am my official title, I guess, is the director of web production for the church. What that means is that anything that touches churchofjesuschrist.org as a URL falls under my stewardship. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to use these next 30 minutes to talk about what's not working on the website. I'm sure that many of you guys are thinking that search is not working or that I cannot find my manual or my lesson or whatnot. We have avenues and we can set up a time to talk about that at length. We know that we have a lot of work to do, but this topic makes me so excited. We have a great opportunity in front of us to do something absolutely amazing for our friends all over the world. And I am just really, really blessed to be a part of this effort. I've been working with public affairs for close to 10 years now in different degrees, helping with the rollout of newsroom to all over the world and hoping to get the good word of the church all over the place. So we just keep expanding this role and making it really significant. I was asked today to spend the next 30 minutes with you guys, introducing myself a little bit, but more importantly, giving you a little bit of a vision of where we're going on the web. Now, why is this important? Our digital needs continue to grow in the church. People are accessing our content all over the planet in different ways. And under the direction of Lyman Kirkland, who is the director of channels, I am the director over the web, as I just said before. But that also means that we have someone like me looking at mobile apps. What are we doing with mobile apps for the church? There is someone like me looking at, what about social media? What do we do with social media? And we're going to show you guys a little bit why we're doing this, what does the landscape look like, and what is the road ahead of us, which is it's more like a marathon, guys. I mean, this is a lot of work that we got to get done, and you're going to see why in just a moment. So if I could, I'm going to share my screen with you, and you tell me with a nod or a quick thumbs up if you can see it. This topic gets me really excited, and I can talk about it for a very long time. You guys do not want me to do that, I promise, but we're going to try to keep it to about 20 minutes. And then, I don't know, Murdoch's or Sean, if I have time to answer questions, I'll be happy to do it. But if nothing else, let me just share with you a little bit about what I'm talking about. So it should be coming up right now. Give me a thumbs up or a nod if you see my screen. You see me?
Yep, got it.
All right, terrific. Let me start from the beginning. One comment that we get all the time from people, as I was just saying a second ago, is why can the church not get this right? Why is it that I cannot find what I'm looking for? I'm sure that many of you guys are nodding, saying every time I want to look up something, I go to Google, and that's how I look for things. So I go here and I go there. Just a quick. Let me open up the mics if you can unmute. Give me a quick guess. How many church websites does the church have? Official websites that our church have. Unmute and just shout out a number.
That's a good question.
30.
11.
11. I like
One.
that.
3.
1.
1. Okay, I really like that number.
30.
Anyone? Sean is laughing. You can see Sean in the screen laughing because he knows that we're aiming way low. Any idea?
50.
A little higher. All right, 51, 10. Let me show you the next slide to give you a picture of what we're dealing with. The church has 10 full websites on the internet, 10 languages. That's Spanish, Portuguese, French, English, Russian, Chinese, Italian, French, and a couple more that I may be missing. These sites are full, from scriptures to conference to manuals to handbooks. We have 10 of those. We also have 104 websites that only have what we call the Gospel Library Online. Content that is dedicated for a little more obscure languages. We have 78 country communication pages in 38 languages. We have 12 area communication pages in 4 languages, 65 country newsroom websites. We have 1 Spanish newsroom website. We have Common to Christ in English, Portuguese, Spanish, and French. And we also have 62 additional Common to Christ websites in different languages. And we manage all this communication from headquarters using 3 different content management systems, along with about 300, give or take, about 300 microsites dedicated for a specific purpose. Like, for example, ministering, or hear him, or give thanks, any of those. So all in all, we're talking hundreds of websites that we have produced in the last 20 years to try to get the message of the church to people all over the world. You can imagine why, when we're talking about hundreds of websites, the brethren said, it may be time to consolidate. It may be time to do less than what we are. We continue to hear the message from people all over the world that we are providing them with too much content. It's just too much. It's a constant flow of campaigns and content and all sorts of ideas, different outlets. Half of the time, our good members do not even know if the site they're looking at is official or not. So it is a festival. It is just a great, grandiose thing that we have created. And now the brethren are saying, it's time to bring it back. It's time to do a little bit better with less. And you will recall the idea to reduce and simplify. Now, this is not to say that everything that we have done has been a mistake. We have done incredible things, and millions of people have learned about the gospel because of what we have done, which is great. It's now just time to mature and do something a little bit different. Now, the slide that you see on the screen right now shows you how we're organized right now as far as the web. And this is how it works. Executive councils at the very top, those little circles, come up with ideas. They work with their department, and then they work with ICS and PSD, which means the publishing folks and the computer folks, and they come up with websites to put out on the web. Usually we say something like, we need a website to address how to prepare to go to the temple. And before you know it, boom, a new website is created to talk about that. And then someone says, you know what? We need to be more grateful. We need a website to talk about how we give thanks. And then, boom, a new website is created. And just because of that, now we have hundreds of those. What this slide is intending to show you guys is that at the very end of this process, we have all sorts of different shapes, colors, and things trying to convey the message. This works well for departments, right? Because they feel, hey, I'm communicating my message well to people in the best way that I know. But it also creates silos. Everyone is doing their own thing. We end up duplicating content. It's inefficient. And it's us thinking from the church out instead of figuring out what does the public need and how do we address those needs. What we're hoping to do as we consolidate is, instead of letting everyone do whatever they want, we would like to coordinate within church communications department and provide the best experience possible for the people who are looking for who we are. What that means is that somebody will tell us, here's the message that we have for the church to communicate to the world. We will ask the question, who is this for? What language is applied to it? What is the best channel to communicate this? And when I say channels, I'm talking about, is a web page the right thing to do? Or should this be a mobile application? Should this be something that we do on the Alexa device and let Alexa worry about that? Should this be an email campaign? Should it be social, and what have you? So by doing this in a coordinated way, we eliminate duplication. We do it with our users in mind. We're hoping to satisfy the needs of the users that are coming to see us instead of us communicating our message out to them. Am I making any sense? Give me a nod. Are you guys feeling a little stressed out for me? Yeah, you should be. You should be, because this is the world that I live in. We're trying to corral this number of websites and this great work that we have into something that makes sense for the church to communicate the good word of the Lord out to people. Now, you're going to hear a couple of things. often on your missions. You're going to hear channel strategy. Channel strategy means which is the right technology or mechanism to deliver a message. Just like I said before, is the best way to communicate this a social media post? Or is the best way to do it by creating a web page with a URL that goes to it? Perhaps we have a new print article on the enzyme. All that is part of the channel. So a channel is, let me just name them, could be print, it could be social media, it could be web, it could be mobile, it could be email. And many of you guys may have what we call OTT, over the top. An OTT device is like an Apple TV, is like a Roku box, is like a Fire Stick on Amazon. The church is interested in creating these applications for people to access our content when they're sitting in their living room via their TV. So depending on what the channel we're trying to communicate is where we're going to put that content. Right now, we have no clue. Right now, we're throwing the content out, hoping that somebody will see it. A message that is geared for a social media post may not make a lot of sense on a web page, or may not make a lot of sense on my Apple TV. I just don't consume it the right way. Right now, we're throwing one size fits all, and that is not working. It's working okay, but the way that it could work is so much better. Oh my goodness, when they talk about the field is white, the field is white. People are ready to consume the gospel. It is our job to learn the best way to communicate it. So this slide shows you how this communication and this message works in a symbiotic form, hoping to address the needs of those people. Now, let me go to the next concept that you're going to hear often in conversation within the communications department, and that is the container strategy. So you're going to hear channel strategy quite a bit. I just told you what that means. That means which device am I using to communicate this message? I am in charge of the web. All things web is my problem. It's a magnificent problem to have. And you're going to hear within the web the container strategy. What in the world is a container strategy? Let me tell you. Up to this day, what we do is we create these microsites. There is one for temple, there is one for the primary, there is one for the young men, there is one for welfare, and that's how we organize the content on the website. Well, guess what? To most people in this church, they have no idea what church departments are. They don't have a clue how the church is organized in that big building in Salt Lake City. So again, we have been thinking of communicating the message from Salt Lake City out. We did a study a little while ago and discovered that people come to the website to fulfill one of 10 things or 10 jobs to be done. And let me tell you what they are on my next slide. Boom. Those are, they come to the homepage to see what's there. They come to the site to prepare a lesson. So they come to study or call in some trainings. They come to be inspired and hear what's happening there. They come to learn about a topic that they've been asked about. They come to see what are our basic beliefs. They come to prepare for a calling. They come to hear the news, use tools, or get other resources, maybe addiction recovery. And they also come to find out how they can get involved with the church. These 10 containers or sections or jobs to be done is how we hope to organize the content on the site. Let me give you an example. Instead of creating temples.churchofjesuschrist.org and putting all the content on temples there, we're going to say, temple department, what are you trying to do? And they're going to say, well, we need people to be more aware of what the temple is and how they can prepare their 12-year-old sons and daughters to go to a temple. Wonderful. That content should be a topic on what is a temple. It should be a training article on how to teach leaders of the youth how to talk to kids about the temple. It can also be in the media gallery if you're looking for temple pictures. It may also be on the news section to talk about the new temples coming up and maybe some adjustments to it. So you can see how a microsite on a specific thing really has a lot of content that can be put in other places. training and whatnot. This idea gets compounded in a beautiful way with the concept of personalization. How many of you guys have had a chance to log into the church's website and see what we call the dashboard, a page that is dedicated for you? Have you seen it? Yeah, I see a couple of hands going up. This is brand new. The personalized homepage of churchofjesuschrist.org was released just a few weeks ago. And just last Friday, we released it for 9 different languages. So now people who are visiting the site in Spanish can click on that and see a personalized dashboard that applies only to you. Why is this important? Because instead of asking people to go to this website and then wishing you luck, finding what you're looking for, instead of doing that, we're going to ask you to log in and we're going to provide to you the content that we think you're looking for. Now, how do we do that? We know when someone logs in, we know what language they speak, we know where you live, what calling you have, we know what preferences you have already because you are a member of the church. And therefore, when I log into my dashboard, I'm going to see content that is relevant to me. In my case, I am a youth preschool advisor. So let me go to my dashboard here. I'm a preschool advisor, and therefore I'm going to see content related to me. In other words, you see that my quick links talk about the youth, gospel living, and things that are relevant to me. If I were a bishop, you will see training and content specific to you, including inspiration messages, including news of the country that you're from. So we're going to begin to use the logged in homepage as a place for people to go and receive the content that they're looking for. What kind of content? Inspiration, training, come follow me, other resources. And we have the ability to see what's happening in life and then begin to feed that content to you. Not different than Amazon does it or Netflix. When you go into Amazon, often you see things that you were looking at and maybe suggestions of what you may be interested in. We're hoping to do something similar to that. For example, if we know that my son is turning 12 this year, it is likely that when I log in, I'm going to see a piece of content reminding me of teaching me how I can speak to my son about attending the temple for the first time. This is something that we cannot do today, right? On a public homepage is really hard to do. That public homepage that we have right now under churchofjesuschrist.org is intended to be everything for everyone. And by doing so, it becomes nothing for no one because we're trying to address a really large need. What we're hoping to do is organize the content in a way that begins to make sense and allowing people to experience the web and experience the gospel in ways that make sense to them, hoping to address specific needs that they have. Those are, in essence, the different components that we want to talk to you guys about. So again, now you know what channel strategy means. Now you know what container strategy means. Container means the website, by the way. And now you also know the strategy around personalizing that content. We have another effort happening right now, and that is if we are able to take our members of the church to a logged-in homepage to have their web experience, what can we do with the public homepage? What should that become? We have about 40 million people every single year come to churchofjesuschrist.org who are friends of the church, and by that I mean not being baptized yet, who are not members of the church, who come to this website and have no idea who we are. All they see is articles and messages related to a religion somewhere in the US that doesn't really apply to them. And that becomes problematic. That becomes problematic as they're trying to sort out, well, who are these people? And we're bombarding them with specific messages about General Conference, about a training that some general authority gave somewhere, about specific church programs that the friends of the church that come to it will know nothing about. So the question that I want to just get you guys a little excited about, and maybe it's not very exciting, but I get excited about it, is if we're able to take our members to the member place where they can log in to pay tithing, prepare a lesson, and do all those things, what can we do with the public image of the church? What should we be showing in the public page of the church? What should we be telling the 7 billion people who could, I'm not saying that they will, I wish they did, but the 7 billion people that may come to this website, who are we? So we're taking a really hard look at what should that public web page be? What is the message of Christ that we're hoping to teach people about us? And hopefully beginning to have different ways for non-members or friends to interact with the church, which, as you know, could lead to conversion. So this is the world that I live in. I've only given you kind of the business side. Underneath this whole explanation, it's a magnificent iceberg of how do we do this with technology that we have? How do we incorporate all the systems that we have? We have hundreds of systems that need to connect to make this thing work. And that is the job that I get to do every single day. That is, oh, so exciting. So exciting. Let me push pause a little bit and see if you guys have any questions. I will answer pretty much anything you ask me, so be careful. But I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. Any thoughts or questions? Feel free to unmute. Or Murdoch's, if you need me to go a different direction, I'll be happy to talk about all sorts of things.
I think what you're doing is great. I appreciate the idea of streamlining it and organizing it for the people. That's very good. And I'm just thinking about how wonderful that is to do. So thank you for that.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
And
Yeah.
I think that
just listening to David, we met him in Africa. He came to train people to use the website so we could open the South African newsroom. And just with his enthusiasm that he has, it made you want so bad to learn. And so I just think it's great, the enthusiasm and love that you have for the work and how you inspire people around you to want to be part of it. I know you inspired us all those years back in Africa as we had elephants eat apples. We ate apples out of their, we held the apple in our mouth and the elephant ate it.
Thank you, Sister Murdoch. Thank you so much. Brother Green, yes.
Yes, David, I think that's really exciting that you're talking about customizing the dashboard for members. And then if it's a non-member, I think that's a great idea. It's a great missionary tool to say, who are we, and various other things. And you guys are looking at that. I think that's a tremendous idea.
Thank you, sir.
David, you mentioned before about putting all the content into a content pool, and then Alexa or whatever is asking. Do you remember that conversation?
Yes, I do.
Is that being done, or how's that project coming?
That's all part of the same conversation that we're having here. As we consolidate the front end website, one element behind it is to make all the content, I'm gonna say generic, but it's not generic. Let's just say not channel specific. Maybe channel agnostic is the right way to say it, so that I can consume it in whatever method makes sense for me. Whether that's a website, Alexa, or whether that is a web. My Alexa keeps waking up when I say that. Or whether that is a different social media post. The idea is that content is available for us to use it, regardless of where we're consuming it. That's all part of the same idea.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Any other comments?
It's just magnificent what you and your department are doing, and you know the whole revelation and inspiration that you're using to further the Lord's work through the internet websites, and it's just amazing the revelation that your department receives on the subject.
Thank you, Brother Murdoch. Brother DeToit, go ahead.
Yes, Brother Parra, I think it's an amazing challenge that you have to try and reconcile the interests of friends of the church who are not members, and they're not looking for material to teach a lesson. They're not looking for specifically for family history connections, and members of the church who are looking for those things. So in a way, you've been very transparent in publishing so much content for members that may confuse the casual observer who's coming in from the outside, who's not a member. So I'm just wondering if if you have a mandate, you should have a mandate to produce something specifically for non-members that won't confuse them, and how you separate those two on a integrated website. So that's a tremendous challenge, and I commend you for applying yourself to this issue. My goodness.
It really is a great challenge. We have the website commontochrist.org, and that website commontochrist.org is intended to be for our non-member friends. It's more basic, talks about Christ and being Christian, and what we are doing now is bringing those together, bringing that content in together to try to put the best face forward. But when you talk about a great challenge, you are exactly right. The challenge to do this it's incredible. It is such a big undertaking. I am lucky, even though I'm the face of it, I am lucky to work with dozens of people who are dedicated to make this thing work, who are helping us. And Elder Murdoch talked about it a little bit. And we rely heavily, I mean, on heavenly help to get this thing done, because it's the only way that we could do it. Finding that balance between content, finding the way to use technology to get people to the right place, hoping to tag the content correctly so it can go to the right person at the right time when they need it. It is a tremendous undertaking. Yet the opportunity that we have is just huge. It is so incredible, and that's what fuels me every single day to get up and try it again. We are doing some things right. We are doing some things not very well, but we're hoping to get better. But I testify to you that this is real. What's happening is real, and I am just so glad to be a small part of it. And every time I talk to missionaries, I get a little jealous, because I hope to someday be on your shoes doing what you're doing. So know that you are my example, you're my role models, and I hope to be prepare myself to serve a mission with my wife sometime in the future. Hopefully not doing websites though. I'll do something different than doing websites, but I do want to serve as you guys are showing me. Murdoch's, anything else you want me to address? Is this enough?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Just for information, we have you reserved, you and your wife, to serve in the South America South area when you're ready.